コンバッション宇推春樹です。今日は喉を痛めたクリアさんの代わりに私が実況を担当します。恐縮です。皆様よろしくお願いいたします。合成映像がすごいですね。本日打ち上げのロケットはロケットラボ社のエレクトロンです。ミッション名は We Love the Nightlife。 打ち上げ時刻は8時45分です。カペラスペースの衛星を搭載しています。カペラスペースの映像をご覧ください。恐縮です。
Let's rock and roll.
We learn really fast, and we build satellites here in San Francisco. We learn things quickly. We go back in the factory, we make changes, and we go back to the launch site and launch new satellites. There's one team and one company in the world that could do this. It's this team and it's this company, it's Capella. And that's why we're the first and only American company that's ever been able to do this. I mean, we were the first American company to put a commercial SAR satellite. We're the highest resolution SAR imagery in the world in the most compact form. We're the first one that's able to do real-time tasking, which means people are going to be able to get their imagery as quickly as it's possible. So it's not just that we've done something as complex as putting a satellite up, we've put up the best satellite in space. So, and we've done that with just 100 or so people in a very short amount of time.
We Love the Nightlife is our third dedicated Electron launch for Capella. Take a closer look at our Electron rocket. Electron is a 3-stage launch vehicle capable of lifting 320 kilograms or 705 pounds to low Earth orbit. It's made from carbon composite and stands 18 meters or 59 feet tall, and when it is fully fueled, weighs in at around 13,000 kilograms or 28,500 pounds. The hardest work for Electron is in the first few minutes of launch, when the 9 engines at the bottom of stage 1 that you can see there takes us through the dense atmosphere of Earth with 224 kilonewtons of thrust. Those engines are the Rutherford, our world-first 3D printed electric pump-fed engines. At around 70 kilometers altitude, roughly 2.5 minutes into flight, we jettison the first stage, and the vacuum-optimized Rutherford engine on the second stage will light up and take us the rest of the way to orbit.
Now, once we get to orbit, around 9 minutes into flight, our second stage
エンジンはラザフォードエンジンで
separates from our third stage, which we call the kick stage. The kick stage takes the payload from an initial elliptical orbit to a circular orbit ahead of deployment, using a small but highly capable 3D printed engine called Curie. We're just 10 minutes away now from our 40th liftoff. It feels like just yesterday Electron lifted off the pad for the very first time. A lot has changed since then, with the commissioning of our second pad here in LC1, dedicated pad on the eastern shore of the US with LC2, missions to the moon, bigger rockets, the list goes on. So as we look to the sky for the 40th time, let's take a look back at the last 39.
I can't believe we're at flight 40. Honestly, it feels like flight 1 was just a few weeks ago. And I just want to take this moment to congratulate the whole team for getting us to this point. and also all of our customers who have entrusted us to fly their precious payloads. We've done some amazing missions from little CubeSats to all the way to the moon. And it's a great
キュリーエン
privilege,
ジンは
to be here
3D プリ
today.
ントで作られていま
So,
す。
as we fly out here 40, can't wait. おはようございます。
Along with our 40th launch today, this year has been an incredibly busy one for Electron and our team. Our rocket has taken flight 7 times across our 2 launch sites.
ぜひ高評価もよろしくお願いします。
Just a couple of weeks ago, and one that also happened to include our latest efforts at rocket reusability. So with today's recovery mission back to back with our recovery launch just a few weeks ago, let's take you through what today's recovery
こう、
operations
コン
will
ハル
include.
キ
Electron is one of the world's most innovative rockets. Since its first launch in 2017, it's pushed the boundaries with 3D printed engines, electric turbopumps, and new carbon composite technology to become one of the most reliable and frequently launched rockets every year. And what's faster than building more rockets? Reusing the ones you already have. Which is why we're evolving Electron into the world's first reusable small
新しい
orbital rocket.
PV ですかね。
So we can launch, splash down, and launch again. Here's how we'll do it. First, Electron lifts off from the pad with 9 Rutherford engines on Electron's first stage, propelling the rocket toward space. Around 2.5 minutes after liftoff, at around 70 kilometers above Earth, the 9 Rutherford engines
エ
on
レクトロンの
Electron's
1
first
段目は
stage
回
shut
収
down,
して再使用さ
allowing
れ
the
ます。
rocket's first and second stages to separate. Tiny reaction control thrusters reorient the stage to the correct angle of attack to slice through Earth's dense atmosphere as it descends. The 12-meter-long stage falls to Earth at top speeds of more than 8,000 kilometers per hour and a temperature peak of close to 2,400 degrees Celsius. About 5 minutes after stage separation, as the stage returns to Earth,
1段目に
a
は
drogue
9つの
parachute
ラ
is
ザフォードエン
released
ジ
at
ンが
around
ついていま
13
す。
kilometers altitude to help slow the rocket down. Less than a minute later, the larger main parachute is deployed from the first stage, bringing Electron's speed down from thousands of kilometers an hour to less than 40 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, our recovery vessel waits patiently outside the splashdown zone in the ocean,
回収の様子がわかる良い
several hundred
PV
kilometers from the launch
ですね。
site, and awaits confirmation of splashdown by telemetry. Once the captain receives confirmation, the chase is on. The recovery team speeds to the booster's location at sea, typically rendezvousing with it just minutes after splashdown. Using a specially designed marine retrieval apparatus, Electron's first stage is plucked from the ocean and secured on the vessel for the return trip home to our production complex to undergo testing and refurbishment for reflight.
海に着水させたものを船で回収します。
From launching rockets to marine recovery, or even building and launching a spacecraft to the moon, we have come a long way. If anything you've seen from us excites you, and you're wondering how you can be a part of this, we have around 100 open roles right now across our launch and space systems businesses. So visit the careers section of our website and apply today.
We are getting close now to the launch handover to Electron at T-minus 2 minutes. That is when Electron's flight computer will take over the count and the rocket will switch to internal power. The Autonomous Flight Termination System, or AFTS, will also be enabled at the same time. Then, under a minute to liftoff, the propellant tanks will be at their optimum pressure levels for launch. Ground control in the Range Control Center will confirm that the water deluge system on the pad is ready to be activated for when Electron's engines ignite.
The launch director will perform the T-minus 10-second countdown, and at T-minus 3 seconds, the engines will ignite ahead of the launch pad's hold-down
もと
mechanism
もと
to
海に
release
着水させる前にヘリコプ
We'll
ター
hand
で
you
キャッ
over
チ
now
する
to
という
mission control for the remainder of the count and check back in with
方
you
法を
shortly
試
after
していたの
liftoff.
ですが、やめになりました。
This is the LD on mission. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. VCON LD on mission.
LD VCON.
Lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Confirmed locked.
And VCON confirm all expected primary flight computer ASGOs are green.
Confirmed ASGOs are green.
All operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
「今回のエンジンもいくつかが再使用されたもののようです。あっという間にあと2分ですね。
Avionics batteries have switched to internal power. Ground power disabled. The vehicle is fully on internal power. FTS is green and enabled for flight.
今回は降下する1段目からの映像もあるようですよ。
Locks load complete. System is in recirculation.
初見の方、恐縮です。
Anti-geysering is disabled.
液体酸素の充填が完了したとアナウンスがありましたね。
Stage 1 and Stage 2 are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
5、
4, 3, 2,
1、リフトオフ。
and lift off.
Vehicle is cleared to pad. Safety launch pad.
Beginning pitch over.
Electron is up
Stage
and
1
away
launch.
from the pad at Launch Complex 1, soaring through the sky and on its way to space for Capella. All is looking nominal with the rocket and its engines as the mission approaches its first
燃料
notable
は
event,
RP1
max
で
Q
す。
or maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most intense pressure during flight that the rocket will experience. The call that we've cleared that milestone should be coming from mission control
Battery
shortly.
discharge is nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic.
ケロシン系の燃料です。
And vehicle has passed max Q.
綺麗な映像ですね。
There we go. That's Max Q cleared as Electron continues
Max
the
Q
Capella
と
satellite on its orbital journey. The mission is moving along at 2,300 kilometers an hour and is now past 19 kilometers in altitude.
The next mission milestone will be the shutdown of those 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage, just ahead of the second stage separating
同
to
圧最
fire
大
up its
点を
own
超えました
engine。
Guidance is nominal.
and continue that mission. That will be called out as MECO or main engine cutoff,
AOS Chatham Station.
followed by stage separation, then stage 2 ignition.
Those call outs from mission control should be happening shortly. So let's listen in.
Stage 1 propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for me.
メンダコ
roughly 30 seconds.
Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
MECO
Stage separation successful.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
That is MECO
分離
stage
しました。
separation and second stage ignition all confirmed from mission control and by what you saw from Electron's vehicle cameras. We pulled up the video feed from the camera on the first stage as it begins to make its way back to the Earth. Meanwhile, the fairing on the second stage should split and fall away shortly. We should
メコ
hear
は
that call
メイ
across
ン
the
エン
net
ジンカッ
soon.
トオフの略です。
Fairing jettison succeeded.
You saw it there on your screen. Electron's fairing has
Stage 2
split apart
propulsion
and
nominal.
fallen away as planned. Capella's Acadia satellite is
Stage
now
2
exposed to
guidance
space
nominal.
from atop Electron's kick stage and ready for payload deployment within the
フェア
hour.
リングジェットイソン
Electron's second stage is moving along now at more than 8,400 kilometers an hour and at an altitude of over 130 kilometers. Meanwhile, that red booster is on its return trajectory. You can see it
フェア
up
リン
on
グと
your
浮き
screen to the
で
left,
すね。
with the second stage cruising along on your right. When the stages separated, the booster carried on in an upward arc from the momentum. But what goes up must come down, and with a bit of redirection from its external thrusters, which you can see happening right
UI
now,
がとても良
that
くな
will
りました。
position the rocket stage on the right angle to come back through Earth's atmosphere. And with that, Electron will be coming home.
地球見える。
With 4 minutes into the mission, an Electron
Starting to
is
throttle
well on
down.
its way to orbit after lifting off from Pad B at Launch Complex 1 right here in New Zealand. The Acadia satellite from
左の
Capella's
赤いのは
space
機体
is
で
sitting
すね。
comfortably on top of stage 2 as it moves along at more than 9,900 kilometers an hour. Electron is headed to a 640 kilometer circular Earth orbit today, so we've still got a bit further to go to reach the apogee at second stage separation around 9 minutes post
Stage 1
liftoff.
has reached apogee.
For the first stage coming back to Earth, you might have just heard on the nets there that stage 1 has reached its apogee, which is the highest point of its trajectory arc. That will mean it's starting to descend now, dropping
Stage
in
1
altitude
re-entry reorientation
as it
complete.
will speed up with the force of gravity. It will travel this way for a few minutes before its drogue and main parachutes are deployed to help slow it down. Before that, though, as part of the primary mission,
再使
we
用
will
ができ
reach
る仕様の
battery
一段目
hot
の
swap on the
証とし
second
て
stage. That's expected to take place at around 6 minutes into the mission.
赤い帯が塗装されます。
We're coming up now to battery hot swap on the second stage. This is an action that you'll see used only on Electron. That is a swap of batteries that are powering our electric pump-fed Rutherford engine on stage 2.
guidance still nominal,
Electron will
about
switch
200
to a
seconds
fresh new
remaining.
battery pack, and we might even see a
HVB
glimpse of the
battery
old
discharge
pair
line nominal.
as
だ
it
から
follows.
昔のエレクトロンは白
There's
黒
a
なんです
shiny
よね。
object you can see next to the engine, so once those drop away, you'll know the battery hot swap has been completed.
白黒。
Recovery vessel acquisition of stage 1 signal.
白黒。
Hot swap successful.
Battery jettison confirmed.
You heard it there from Mission Control. Electron's second stage has completed its battery swap and is continuing along nominally. The launch vehicle is exceeding speeds of more than
Stage 2
15,000
propulsion
kilometers an
nominal.
hour in an altitude of
忘
205
れてた。
kilometers, while on its way now to the mission's target orbit of 640 kilometers.
バッテリー取れました。 本このエレクトロンロケットは
Stage 1 drogue deployed.
電動ポンプで動いています。
AFTS has saved.
That was great news from Mission Control, and while it looks like we've lost the video feed from Stage 1 as we expected,
battery
we
discharge
did
holding
get
nominal.
that confirmation from Mission Control that the stage's drogue
And
parachute
stage 2
has been
propulsion holding
deployed.
nominal.
That is excellent news, just ahead of the main parachute, which should deploy in the next few seconds.
電動ポンプで飛ぶロケットは今のところこいつだけですね。
Stage 1 main chute deploy.
There's the call we were waiting on. Confirmation from our team in Mission Control that the booster's main parachute
で、
has been
その電
deployed.
動ポンプに
That
電
will
池がいり
mean
ます
the。first stage has well slowed down its pace and should be
Stage 2 guidance in
floating.
terminal, 25 seconds remaining.
That stage
電動
should
です
now
か
be
らね。
floating gently towards the water
Stage
out
one
over the
main is
Pacific
disrupted now.
Ocean, where our recovery teams are in position and waiting patiently for that chance to move in. So just a few seconds away from the second stage's final actions. We've got second engine cutoff or SECO before the
バ
kick
ッテリー
stage
すっごく
separates
使
for
う
its
ので
phasing orbit of Earth. Let's listen out for those milestones.
SECO confirmed.
Great news there from Mission Control.
途中で
With that
交換
second
するん
stage
です
engine cold and the kick stage cleanly separated, all we have left now to complete the mission is
成功
payload
Nominal
deployment for
transfer orbit
Capella's
achieved.
Acadia satellite. The kick stage will now move into a coast phase with its payload atop. After that phasing orbit is complete, the Curie engine on the kick stage will light up to correct its trajectory
セカンドエン
to
ジ
a
ンカッ
circular
トオフ
orbit
です。
before deploying the payload, which should be coming up in the next 45 minutes or so.
That booster is continuing to make its way down to the ocean as planned. At sea, our recovery crew
悪の秘密結社はロタ。
Before we break through, though, the latest on recovery is that the booster continues to make its way down to the ocean as planned. At sea, our recovery crew are on standby in the recovery zone waiting for that splashdown before they move in to collect the first stage. Once it has water landed, the crew will move in to pull it up and out of the ocean and onboard the recovery vessel before they
LOS
begin the
Chatham Station.
journey back to land. We will take a bit of a break now,
途
but
中
we'll
で
come
交
back
換
to
し
you
た
in
バ
a
ッテ
few
リーは
minutes
い
with
らなくなるの
confirmation
で
of booster splashdown. We'll be back shortly.
Stage 1 recovery vessel has visual on chute.
空中で捨てるんです。それがさっきのなんか取れたみたいに見えたやつです。
To all operators, expected AOS for kick stage at approximately T plus 43
電池は回収してないと思います。知らんけど。リチウムポリマー二次電池だったはずです。知らんけど。1段目からの映像なさそうかな。途中で切れちゃった。フライトナンバーですか。エレクトロンの40回目の打ち上げです。この音楽の作者、知ってますか？
For that
エブリデイアストロノート。書いてあるところが見つからなかった。あった。 ちっさちっさまあいいや。エブリデイアストロノート。ロケット関連の YouTuber です。すごい人ですよ。今度月に行きます。だいぶ雑に紹介してしまいました。前澤さんと一緒にフライトするメンバーの一人です。前澤。
Stage 1 splashdown.
Hello again from Rocket Lab
イーロ
Mission
ンさんに
Control.
もインタビュ
We
ー
are
など
cutting
よく
into
してい
this
ま
break
す。
before payload to deployment to confirm what we have just heard over the nets, that Electron's booster has splashed down in the ocean as planned. The Electron recovery operations will now move into stage collection from the water, with the crew, as you can see there, moving quickly to reach that stage and pull it on up. We'll have this video footage up for as long as we can, and if we're lucky, we
もう
might
着
even
水した
see
み
it
たい
pull
で
up
すね。
alongside Electron. But until we do, we will turn you back to this animated holding graphic that shows the position of Electron's third stage above us as it makes its way to its mark for payload deployment at around T plus 57 minutes. We'll see you back here then.
今来た産業さんこんにちは。春樹です。エレクトロンが飛びました。もうすぐ1段目の回収です。これで3行。 おや。しょ。止まるな止まるな。しょ。しょ。配信側の問題ですね。春樹です。ホルモンを飲み込むタイミングがわからんとです。春樹です。春樹です。春樹です。私は無職です。クリアだけに。いつ回収になるんだろう。 ハートずっと押してる方がいますね。肩、ハートずっと押してる方がいますね。ハート嬉しいです。
Hi, it's me.
エブリデイアストロノートのおすすめを貼っておきます。これスターベースツアー。リアちゃんどこ、すみません。喉が痛いようで。私が代わりに配信しています。声でなくなっちゃったとのことです。お大事に伝えておきます。一段目来ないな。なんか来ないんで、ミッション詳細でも見ますかね。岡山宇宙さん、ありがとうございます。推しが廊下に寝始めて2ヶ月。 わわわ。エブリデイアストロノートのキムさんは、キム王子と呼ばれ、とても人気です。で、いよいよ月に行くって言うんですからみんなびっくりしましたよ。一段目まだ。恐縮です。ぜひ高評価もよろしくお願いします。ぜひ高評価もよろしくお願いします。大事なことなので2回言いました。2回押した。ありがとうござ。2回はダメです。 2N プラス1でお願いします。541回押した。100番目の素数なんですよね。すごいです。541は薄いと読めなくもないので薄いです。一段目来ないのでミッション詳細読みます。少々お待ちください。あ。トマト。ここ春樹だったわ。春樹図、ロケットローンチストリーム。やん。 ちょくちょく止まりますね。喉を痛めているクリアちゃんの代役です。初見さんありがとうございます。ロケットマークのついている初見は初めて見ました。昨日はインドの月着陸もうまくいってよかったですね。声かっこいい。恐縮です。ミッションマークの招き猫。本当だ。気づかなかった。かわいいですね。猫ちゃん。にゃん。 春キャット。通う斉藤さんありがとうございます。春キスキイケメン。へいへいへ、恐縮です。では、今日のミッション詳細です。We Love the Nightlife。カペラスペースの衛星を搭載しています。打ち上げ場所はニュージーランドのマヒア半島。LC1 のパッド B から打ち上げでした。アドレス。ブーラ。これですかね。クリアさんごめんなさい。ローカルパスを食っちゃった。 ちょっと待ってね。PC のユーザー名バレちゃった。まあクリアなんだけど。これでどうや。
Hello and welcome back to the webcast of our 40th Electron mission, We Love the Nightlife, a dedicated launch for Capella space to low Earth orbit. If you've just joined us, we've had a picture-perfect launch so far for Capella's Earth Imaging SAR mission, and pretty smooth operations for Electron recovery. Electron cleared the pad at Launch Complex 1 at 11:45 a.m. local time, and soared cleanly through its first launch milestones. That's max Q, MECO, state separation, and second stage ignition before T+3 minutes. Shortly after that, the rocket completed a successful battery hot swap for its Stage 2 engine before the Rutherford shut down as planned for kick state separation at the mission's target apogee of 640 kilometers above Earth.
1段目の回収は
All of those actions, of course, was our secondary mission to bring Electron's first stage back to Earth and collect it from the ocean for our 8th booster recovery mission. With clean separation of the first stage from the second after MECO, the booster completed its upward arc before making its way back down toward Earth with a little positioning help from its reaction control system. The first stage sliced through Earth's atmosphere and hit peak speeds of 8 times the speed of sound before its drogue and main parachutes deployed to safely slow down that velocity. Electron reached the ocean as planned, and our team are deep in recovery mode to pull the booster out of the water and onboard their boat so they can start the desalting process and preserve Electron for the journey back to the factory. A fantastic effort by the team made all the more impressive by the fact that today's mission flew with a reflown engine from a previous launch for the very first time. It will be so interesting to see how that engine survived its second launch and second swim in the ocean, and I have no doubt that our engineering teams are itching to dig into the data and check it out for themselves when it returns home with the rest of the stage.
Right now, though, we're just seconds away from Curie engine shutoff on Electron's kick stage carrying Capella's Acadia payload. We should be hearing the call that the Curie engine has shut off and then expect payload deployment very shortly after. So let's listen in.
Curie Stage 3 propulsion is still holding nominal. Stage 3 shutdown.
A nominal engine shutdown there from Curie. The kick stage is now in a prime position to release the Acadia satellite onto its low
3段目
Earth
シャッ
orbit
トダウンし
trajectory.
ました。
Any moment now.
CG 映像をご覧ください。
Payload deployment.
That was Mission Control on the nets. You might have heard there with the good news that we have successfully deployed Capella's Acadia satellite to its new home in space. Congratulations to the Capella team.
取れた。
All the best with commissioning your new satellite into service.
8 launches so far this year, 40 overall, and another booster on its way back to the factory. A huge congratulations to the entire Rocket Lab family around the globe, only 10 away from half a century.
LOS Spain.
We're looking forward to bring back on the pad again soon, including more upcoming missions for Capella Space. If you're looking to launch your career into space, make sure you check out our open roles on our careers page at rocketlabusa.com. And don't forget, you can stay up to date with all things Rocket Lab by following us on social media.
We are going to finish up the broadcast now, but let's check out today's liftoff one more time. This is Rocket Lab Mission Control signing off.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
A フィニッシュ。
2, 1.
A 1段目の回収は
Beginning picture off.
「飛んだ」「終わった」「1段目の回収は」ねえ、1段目の回収はそんな。楽しみにしてたのに。今の、ねえ、の言い方リアちゃんだった。マジか。ねえ、1段目の回収は そんなに似ていますか？恐縮です。ミッション詳細を少し見ましょう。では、改めて今日のミッション詳細です。旦那じゃないです。ガチ恋じゃないんで。私のことを知りたければ、4月1日の宇推くりあさんの X をご覧ください。4月1日。では、改めて今日のミッション詳細です。We Love the Nightlife。カペラスペースの衛星を搭載しています。打ち上げ場所はニュージーランドのマヒア半島。LC1 のパッド B から打ち上げでした。ここ。 衛星は一つですね。投入高度は 640km。軌道傾斜角波53度。軌道傾斜角は53度。赤道から何度角度があるかってねです。赤道から何度角度があるかって値です。SAR 衛星ですね。カペラ衛星は高画質、高解像度の SAR 画像を提供する。昼夜を問わず24時間365日地球上のあらゆる場所で鮮明な画像を撮影できる。らしいです。ミッションタイムライン。終わってから見ても仕方ないか。以上です。なんで招き猫なんだ。 わからなかった。後で調べておきますね。これ良かったですね。衛星を合成しているようです。では打ち上げをリプレイしましょう。
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff.
Safety launch pad.
Beginning pitch over.
Electron is up
Stage
and
one
away from the pad at Launch Complex 1, soaring through the sky and on its way to space for Capella. All is looking nominal with the rocket and its engines as the mission approaches its first notable event, Max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, the most intense pressure during flight that the rocket will experience. The call that we've cleared that milestone should be coming from mission control
HVB
shortly.
battery discharge is nominal.
Vehicle is supersonic. And vehicle has passed max Q.
There we go. That's Max Q cleared as Electron continues with Capella's satellite on its orbital journey. The mission is moving along at 2,300 kilometers an hour and is now past 19 kilometers in altitude.
The next mission milestone will be the shutdown of those 9 Rutherford engines on the first stage, just ahead of the second stage separating to fire up its own
Stage one
engine
guidance is nominal.
and continue that mission. That will be called out as MECO, or main engine cutoff,
AOS Chatham Station.
followed by stage separation, then stage 2 ignition.
Those call-outs from mission control should be happening shortly. So let's listen in.
Stage 1 propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in roughly 30 seconds.
Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation successful.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
That
はい
is MECO
ということで
stage
本日の
separation
打ち上げ
and
実
second
況は
stage
終了
ignition
で
all
す。
confirmed from mission control and by what you saw from Electron's vehicle cameras. We pulled up the video feed from the camera on the first stage as it begins to make its way back to the Earth. Meanwhile, the fairing on the second stage should split and fall away shortly. We should hear that call across the net soon.
初めてでしたが楽しかったですね。皆様ありがとうございました。お疲れ様ありん。 時の未来さん、ヒルデさん、ソータ三浦さん、クロヤンさん、リンゴ団員さん、ボンさん、ポラリスさん、ユウさん、トビーさん、キャノンさん、アップさん、ケンケンケンさん、ナナタカさん、ガンヒさん、アメヤポングさん、ヒタくんさん、辻ちゃんさん、ありがとうございました。通う斉藤さん、宇佐倉さん、米長ネギさんでいいのかな。お疲れ様アリンでした。ナノセコンドさん、ありがとうございました。またね。バイバイ。シュシュチャンネル登録と高評価よろしくお願いいたします。X のフォローも待ってます。コメントがもらえるともっと嬉しいです。配信終了後にコメント欄にメッセージをください。体育館裏で読みますから。恐縮です。では、またの機会に。恐縮でした。宇推春樹がお送りいたしました。